Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing great. If you do enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So right now there's been a lot of uncertainty in the market, and this uncertainty is only increasing. And I mean, today we've had quite a red day. You can see the Dow is down 2%, and there is pretty much all across the board just been a red day in the market. And I think this is due to a variety of reasons. I think, namely, today was a red day just because, Roni cases have been taking off like crazy. But also, there's the upcoming election, as we say here, that's increasing uncertainty. So I'm going to talk you through how you can profit from this play, or at least reduce your losses. I mean, one idea is to sell all your shares and buy the dip, of course. But again, no one knows when or even if a crash is going to happen. This is all just speculation, of course. I'm not a financial advisor, little disclaimer there. um, Another idea, of which of course I'm doing, is investing in gold. And I like to invest in a gold company more than buying gold nuggets, having physical gold. um, and I think that Kirkland Lake, I own some shares of Kirkland Lake. I think that is a solid play compared to some of the bigger manufacturers, such as Barrick Gold, and a better play than sort of a penny stock gold manufacturer. So I'm going to walk you through that. But first, I'll just give you the main points if you don't want to listen to the whole video, and then I'll go through my thought process. So first, Rona's taking off. Although there's less mortality associated with new cases, there's still an increase in uncertainty in the markets because of this. Upcoming election will increase uncertainty in the short term, and all this uncertainty tends to raise the price of gold. And of course, when the gold prices are higher, this will increase profitability for companies like Kirkland Lake. And Robert Shiller, he's a famous economist, has many indices named after him. And right now, there's a huge non-confidence, or a lack of confidence, in the market right now. And so the Shiller Crash Confidence Index is actually at its lowest point, but it's like an inverse relationship. So when the Shiller Index is at its lowest point, that means that's a highest investor non-confidence, which means that most likely they think that a market crash is imminent. Okay. And I do believe that Kirkland Lake is a solid play, is because it has a lot of growth potential, kind of like a smaller cap company. However, it is profitable, which is a very, very good sign. And they actually just released their preliminary Q3 results, and it's looking fantastic. As we can see here, they recently reported Q3 prelim results. They increased gold production by 3%, and they increased and an increase in revenue of around 9% based on the numbers that they had. And you can pause this and go through the math. But yeah, let's get right into it. So first of all, as we can see here, these are the Roni cases in the states, all across the states. So as we can see, it's quite high, it's almost at its highest point, especially on October 23rd. There were 85,000 cases. However, if we go to the deaths are actually quite low, right? So, I mean, this might be an aberration of just increased testing in general. Right now, the second wave is hitting more younger populations, and they tend to have a lower mortality rate. So this is also, this is good news, and this actually shows that although there's an increasing amount of cases, a lot of people, or less people, are actually dying from it, just because, of course, better ways of treating new cases. Now, not many people go on oxygen, just because of new research showing that it's not actually like that beneficial. Plus, of course, younger population getting the Roni. Anyways, but still, just new cases in general increases uncertainty, and therefore markets tend to downtrend, because people are like, oh, like, will the economy shut down again? But it is also based on the mortality rate. And as we can see, sorry, excuse me, guys. As we can see, the mortality rate is decreasing. So most likely the economy will not get fully shut down again. Next thing we have is not the US Valuation Index, but US Crash Confidence Index. And this is by the Yale School of Management. It's a Shiller Index. And we can see here September 2008. Let's just go here. We can see that this number, 35% of US institutional investors, they thought that there was less than a 10% chance of the market crashing. So pretty much this means that 35% of people thought that there was less than a 10% of market crashing. So the majority of people actually thought the market crash was imminent, right? Versus 26% of high net worth U.S. individual investors. So a lower number is actually bad, right? And as we can see here, let me just move this. We can actually see if we scroll here now, 24% of institutional investors and 15% of US individual high net worth investors think that there's a less than 10% chance that there will be a market crash. Sorry, that there will not be a market crash. My bad. So the majority of people actually think that, or they have a lack of confidence in the market right now. They actually think that a market crash is imminent, right? So there's a lack of confidence in the market right now based on this U.S. crash confidence index, based on Robert Shiller, a pretty famous economist. And I mean, we'll have to see, of course, if he's right. But yeah, so this is, again, not a good sign if we compare it to the previous crash where, now it's an even lower number, right? So this just means that investors even have less confidence in the market right now, okay? So again, with less confidence in the market, gold generally tends to outperform because it's considered like a safe haven investment. And if you have been watching my videos, you know that I'm invested in Kirkland Lake Gold. I mean, in the past month, it has, decreased by 7%. I think I'm down like around 5% on my position. But again, I'm not too worried just because I think Kirkland Lake has some stellar numbers and they are continuing to grow. And again, I like it better than something like a Barrick Gold, just because if we look at their quarterly financials, we can see that the revenue has increased year over year on the quarter by 106%. Net income increased by 44%, and that's just because they're putting a lot of money, a lot of their revenue back into the operations to acquire more gold mines. Versus something like a Barrick Gold, they have only a 48% of an increase in revenue compared to like over 100% in Kirkland, but they're giving a lot of that money back to, I guess, their shareholders in terms of dividends. So a lot of it goes back down to their bottom line, whereas in Kirkland Lake, it's reinvested into the business. And I like that more about Kirkland Lake because that will mean higher growth potential in the future. Right now, we're sitting at around a 16 billion market cap as compared to some of the bigger players like like Barrick, which sit at around a 62 billion market cap. And if we go to their PE ratio, which is a sign of how a company is valued, again, they're more valued as sort of like a growth company. Right now, a 15 PE ratio is not high by any standard, but it is higher than the PE ratio of Barrick Gold at around 10. But that's just because the growth potential is quite a bit higher for a company that's a third of the size and is growing revenue at over 100% compared to growing revenue at about like a 48%. And also part of the reason why I like Kirkland better is because if we go on the statistics section, we see that their operating margin is $56. So pretty much that just means how much for every dollar they spend comes in as not down to the bottom line, but comes in as money that they're taking in. So around over like half of the money that they're putting in to pay for their mines, pay for their workers, they're actually getting back in operations, okay? Versus operating margin for Barrick is quite a bit lower. And although their profit margin is pretty high at 39% compared to 36%, this just means that Kirkland, again, is reinvesting more of the money that they earn back into their business, right? So again, I'm just more focused on the growth of something like Kirkland Lake, which I think has more potential than a Barrick Gold. And even though Kirkland is more of a growth company, I still think that a 15 P ratio is not terribly high, right? So I am excited for prospects of Kirkland Lake. And they also announced, one thing that I like is that they announced Q3 production, and they also boosted their dividend by 50% for Q4, right? So consolidated gold production rose 30% year over year to 539,584,000 ounces in third quarter. Consolidated gold sales rose 29.5% year over year to 331,959 ounces. and the average company's average realized price of gold was 1,907 per ounce in the third quarter, compared with 1,482 in the prior year quarter. Okay, so and some of these numbers that I made here were based off of the prelim Q3 results, right? So again, you can pause it and compare that to their Q2 results. So again, they're increasing revenue, which is really good, which is really good sign to me. They're increasing their dividend, and they're increasing their dividend by 50%. So again, an incredibly good sign. That means they're, they're going to be able to issue a lot more share buybacks, or of course, like they're doing now, issue a lot of their profits and give it back to shareholders in terms of their dividend. And so for all these reasons, I do like Kirkland Lake more than other gold producers. I just, picked on Barrick Gold just because it's a pretty renowned gold company, and also Warren Buffett recently invested money into it, or at least his the people under his company did. But yeah, overall, I do think that coming into the next few weeks, next few months, you should be wary in putting money in the market unless you, of course, see a correction, and then be ready to have around like 10 to 30% of your portfolio in cash that's on hand, so that you'll be ready to add into the market once once it dips in a big way. Okay, and right now, for what I'm doing is definitely keeping a close eye on the market, seeing where it's going, and I'm not selling out on any of my positions, except I will be willing to put more money in, and I want to put more money in if the stocks that I own drop in a big way. Okay, so anyways, I hope you do enjoy the video, and if you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.